Okay, so hopefully the camera's going to pick up the sound. Now, the transmitter's on 0, so I'm not beating this dog up for no reason. She's laying there because she's tired and she's done for the day. But when I tap, you're going to hear that signal. That's the transmission of signal from the transmitter to the receiver that the dog is wearing. This collar is an E-collar Technologies ET Mini 300, and it has 100 settings plus a pager function. We rarely use the pager function unless we get dogs who have a tendency to not respond to the electronic function because we're using it at such low levels. And when we use the pager function or the tone function, essentially it kind of sends them over the edge. It makes them a little bit more acutely aware of what's going on around their neck. We don't like using the pager function because it is a startling encounter for a dog, and a lot of dogs have a hard time recovering from it. But if we have a dog who's very resistant, like with her earlier, dropping her nose and not paying attention, she was more eager to investigate the environment. I hit the pager function a couple times and warmed her up. This is a dog who normally works under 10 with levels on a collar that has levels of up to 100. So again, it's on 0 now. We're going to move it up to about 2 or 3 because she works real low. Okay. We're taking off the thing. Good girl. So when I move, all I'm doing, good girl, is tapping to get her to quit. Good girl. I'm encouraging her by telling her when she's right. Good girl. Count. Here. Sit. Good girl. So that way I'm not using my leash and collar to force her. I'm using my e-collar to compel her. Semantics, I know, but essentially you get the drift. Good girl. Okay. When we move, the command for moving is let's go. And every time I start, good. Every time I start, my left leg leads. So I'm going to get her attention. Ready? Let's go. One tap. And anything that's not going to let go off from the leash, do a return. Good girl. Every time she drops her head, if she tries to raise the head, good girl. And I'm going to punctuate every time she looks at me. Good girl. Nice. With a reward. Step. When I call her, the command is here. Rosie, here. Sit. Good girl. So again, every time she comes to me, I'm going to reward her in some tangible way. Okay? Because I want her to understand there's no consequence associated with my recall. Good girl. She can play. If I call her, she will come. Good girl. And what she does willingly, good dog. I'm going to phone her up before I send her on her way. And the reason why is because the vast majority of dogs, when their owners call them, it's, I said come here. And they advance on the dog, and they push the dog away from them, so pretty much it becomes chasing. Well, the reality is, good. The reality is that when you do that, you teach the dog fear. Good girl. Sit. Nice. So every time she volunteers a recall, go back. And pay her off, and we'll let her go. Good girl. Now I want her to kind of wander. I'm not walking with the leash. She has it. She's still kind of following me. Because she knows I'm a great trainer. Good girl. Here. Sit. Very nice. So at this point, we're able to extract some behaviors. Let's go. Good. That we previously didn't see. Let's go. Good. No dog is keen on driving 15 feet line. Sit. Very nice. Okay. But basically, you can see the rough rudiments of off-leash work. Here. Come on. Come here. Come. Here. Sit. Now, if you notice when I handle the leash just now, and this is a very specific distinction, I acquired the leash without yanking on it. I simply picked it up and helped move the dog in the direction that I wanted without being forceful. Nope. Sit. Good. Because most people's first reaction is yank. And what happens is you create what they call an opposition reflex. You pull, the dog pulls back. So what we want to do is get the dog to volunteer. Okay. But ultimately, if the dog refuses, we do have to compel. You ready? Yeah. Here. Sit. Good girl. Now the leash is all jumbled around her feet. She has to move through it. But that was a pretty honest effort. Okay. Good.